Hey guys, it's just me, Macca, formerly of Jack's Back of Macca. What do you mean I don't look right? Why don't you guys watch my fucking streams, man? If I don't, like, I'm not actually a Jack Frost. God damn it. Ugh. Well, anyway, kept my promise. Got a tattoo for 10,000 subscribers. I know it's a bold choice, but it's what I really wanted, okay? It's something that I want to carry with me for the rest of my life. But, anyway, as I said, yes, I hit 10,000 subscribers, and I wanted to do an update video, one, to thank everyone who subscribed and all that, as well as thanking some other people, but also just to kind of give you guys an update on what's going on. First off, thank you, everyone who subscribed, who's watching this video right now. I really appreciate it. You have no idea what this means to me. I've been doing YouTube for 10 years, and it's only in the last year and some change that it's actually started to, like, go anywhere, and I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. You have no idea. Some other thank yous I want to give is to Nith Grandbeard, aka Ratupi's Game Room, for the channel art and everything that he's done for me, the thumbnails, art, assets, all that kind of thing. I want to thank all my friends in the community that I've made and how they have really helped me get to this point, as well as the people I've collabed with and am planning to collab with in the near future. My roommate, Ibby, as well as my friend Owen for helping me edit a number of my videos. I really could not have done it without them. And not only that, but they edited these things for nothing. And, God, oh my God. I so appreciate that. I'm going to pay you guys back at some point, I swear. And again, as I said, I wanted to thank you guys for subscribing. You have no idea how much this means to me. 10,000 fucking subscribers. Jesus Christ. But with the thank yous out of the way, I feel like this video is going way too fast. I just started, and I feel like it's going way too fast. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep going and just keep talking, you know, until I cover everything that I want to cover. I have a little itinerary right here that I'm following, so forgive me if it feels like I either go too fast or go too slow or whatever the fuck. I have no idea. So first piece on the itinerary, I want to revamp Is a Good Game. Is a Good Game is a series I do that's essentially an review impressions series that I do, where I include some comedy. It's the initial, like, onus or the initial joke that I made is that it's a Video Game Donkey ripoff, but I give my opinion, and, like, that is true. That is kind of some of the mindset I went into it with it, but I want to focus more on the impressions and less on the jokes. Mainly just the fact that what I enjoy about those videos more is the fact that I get to just kind of talk about something and spew it at you guys. And sometimes the jokes come naturally, and other times the jokes I kind of have to force them, and I've just gotten to a point where I just want to focus more on the impressions because that comes more naturally. If I include a joke, it's gonna be more, you know, organic. I'll just include it in a more organic way as opposed to trying to force it, you know, that kind of thing. It will, however, remain sporadic, because what leads to me making Is a Good Game is I'm playing a game that I want to talk about. I want to give my impressions on. So that's not always going to happen. I'm not going to have a game after game after game I want to give my impressions on. So it's still going to be sporadic, but I'm going to revamp it. And I can say I'm going to be working on one soon, specifically about No More Heroes 3, because I just know, as right now, it is Thursday. No More Heroes 3 is out in a few hours. I'm fucking excited! The Every Game I Play in X Year videos will still continue. For those who are a bit confused on it, those are essentially me reviewing every single game I play in a year. And those don't really conflict with my Is a Good Game series, because Is a Good Game is more about impressions and specific games I want to talk about, whereas Every Game I Play in a Year is about games that I didn't do videos on, or they're more complete opinion pieces about games that I did do videos on that I finished. The only games that I haven't really covered in those are games that I've streamed, mainly just SMT 1, 2, If, Nocturne, Strange Journey, those. And I'm probably not going to cover those because I will have made entire long videos about each one, talking about why you should play them and why I like them. So yeah, don't expect those in there. But everything else, the what X number of every game I played in X year videos are still gonna happen. Those aren't gonna be, you know, hurting anyway. Kind of alongside this, I want to try and do more smaller videos regularly in between the bigger ones, as well as just kind of branch out from just SMT videos. I've never 100% been SMT oriented or Megaton oriented or Atlas oriented. I've always been kind of a smorgasbord of stuff, while Atlas and SMT is the thing I keep coming back to. That this channel ultimately kind of revolves around, but all these other things are there. I want to do videos about other things. Not even necessarily just games. Most of it's going to be games, but occasionally I want to do videos about other stuff. For instance, if you guys picked up on my very subtle hints, very subtle hints in my last few videos, I want to do a video on If, the movie that inspired, at least in name, Shin Megami Tensei If, the 1968 movie starring Malcolm McDowell. I want to do a video on that. Probably would be, my friends and I, we would watch the movie and then we just talk about it, you know, and then I would give, me being the only person in our group that knows SMT, would be like, yeah, this is how similar it is, and this is how it's not similar. And I would want to do the same for Annihilation, you know, for Strange Journey. That's something I want to work on pretty soon and have those videos go out. And then if you guys end up liking those, I might try and do more of them, you know? I want to try and just branch out a bit more, not just do SMT. Obviously, SMT would still be at the center of everything I do, but still, you know, I don't want to tie myself down to just Shin Megami Tensei. And then, of course, I've had other videos that are not just Shin Megami Tensei related, or even video game related, just kind of whatever I come up with. But the main thing I want to do is I kind of want to just talk about, like, movies and TV shows that I like, usually with my friends, if I can, if not, myself, whatever. I think it would just be an interesting little discussion video, as well as just being able to let me get videos out more regularly than just having to wait like 2 months in between the big videos. Another kind of video I want to make is a channel trailer. I don't have one of those. I really need to make one. At the moment, my channel trailer is just the why the Atlas Online Store was a dumpster fire and how it can improve when it returns. Hint, it's never coming back. But yeah, I want to make an actual channel trailer, so you can expect that to come up in the next few weeks or so. Just work on that and try and get that up. Another thing that I want to try and get going in the next couple of weeks is, wait for it, Patreon. I told myself that when I got to 10,000 subscribers, I was going to launch a Patreon. I would love to keep making these videos. This is my hobby outside of, like, you know, just playing games. Like, this is a hobby I love to do. And not only that, but it's more in my wheelhouse. I've always been more of a video guy. But it's always been hard to justify making these videos when I'm not really making money off of them. And then when I hit 1,000 subscribers back in March of 2020, right as the pandemic hit, oh, that's good timing. But right as that happened, I started to make some AdSense off of my videos. But really, it's only like $100 every 2 months or so. It's not a ton. And I would really like to be able to do these just more regularly and focus on them more. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm launching a Patreon. I'm still working on it. I'm still getting everything prepared and finalized, but I will launch it. And alongside the Patreon launch will be a video that will let you guys know that, hey, a Patreon's going up. And if you guys could donate, I would really appreciate it. Don't donate if you can't, but if you want to, I would so greatly appreciate it. I'll let you guys know whenever that goes up and is ready to go. But yeah, if you can donate, I would be so thankful. I would be so thankful. You have no idea. I keep saying I'm thankful for stuff in this. I I really don't know how else to really express myself, I guess. I'm very thankful right now. 10,000 subscribers is a lot. You guys, that's a lot. I've been doing this for 10 years. Did you guys know that? And only in the last year and some change, did things actually start to go anywhere. 10,000 subscribers is a lot. Thank you. The last thing I wanted to do is a couple of days ago on Twitter and on YouTube in the community tab, I put out that I'm doing a Q&A with this video. And I'm answering every fucking question. Let's go! First up, from Chozo Yuhu. What's your favorite artist / band and album? Do you want the white boy answer, or the white person answer, or the slightly less obvious answer? Queen has always been a favorite of mine. I love Queen to death. It is a very generic white person answer, but Queen is just so good. Freddie Mercury, he was just taken from us too soon, and I will always love their music. The other band that I would say that I love is Gorillaz. Gorillaz is fantastic. My favorite album of theirs would definitely be Plastic Beach. Plastic Beach is great. I think Demon Days has higher highs, but Plastic Beach, to me, has such high highs and is overall more consistent. Also from Jozo Yuhu, do you think SMT should, at some point, make a return to the first-person dungeon crawlers? Yeah, definitely. Could you beat an alligator in a fight? No weapons or extra stuff except for boxing gloves. I'm not Hideki Naganuma, okay? I can't beat an alligator in a fight. Maybe a crocodile, but not an alligator. From Maxiodyne, what has been the most cursed thing to happen to you on a Mega 10 game? Anytime Macca Beam is used, I genuinely hate Macca Beam. From Aurelius Dovrak, I hope I said that right. Do you have big plans for the future of the channel? Yeah, I would say so. Like I said, I have all those things I want to do. I want to revamp Is a Good Game. I want to try and make videos more regularly. I want to try and do, like, film / TV show discussion videos with my friends. Yeah, I have stuff I want to do. And also, like I said, I want this to become my job if I could, please. I love doing this, please. Whenever that Patreon launches, please donate if you can. Don't feel like you have to, but if you want to, please, I would really appreciate it. From Lock and Sock, what do you think of an SMT All Reps Fighters game? Yeah, I would love that. I would love a SMT arena. I've always loved that idea. From Sonic Kick, kill, marry, fuck, Kiryu, Ichiban, Yagami. Marry Kiryu, fuck Yagami, kill Ichiban. And the main reason for that is because Kiryu would fucking kill me. Yagami I love, but I don't love him in that same way as I love Kiryu. And Ichiban is canonically weaker than these guys, so he would be the easiest to kill. From Cobalt Buizel, have you ever heard of the critically acclaimed MMORPG from Square Enix, Final Fantasy XIV, which has the free trial that goes all the way up to level 60 and includes the award-winning first expansion, Heaven's Word, with no restrictions on playtime? Yes, I have. I don't care for MMOs. From Plasmite, how do you push to keep making videos if you begin to feel demotivated? And what's your personal advice for writing and structuring video scripts? Push on to keep making videos when I feel demotivated. Honestly, I just take a break. When I start to feel burnt out on something, I just take a break and I just let it go. And then I come back to it. And if I am still burnt out once I come back to it, I work on it a little bit, and then I continue to take a break, and I just start working on it in chunks, as opposed to one big thing all at once. Usually when I'm done with a video, I tend to feel burned out, and I give myself quite a while just to kind of recuperate. Those are mainly on the big videos. When it comes to things like Is a Good Game, or like the smaller videos, whatever the fuck I do, no, those are, I usually don't feel that bad about those afterwards. But it's mainly the big videos, like the Selling You Ons, where I tend to feel just kind of drained afterwards. And I just rest. I try to keep a good, healthy work-life balance. And I recognize the fact that my main source of income is not YouTube. So whenever I do start to feel demotivated or drained or burned out, as much as I would hate to say it, that's the thing I just kind of have to cut back on, because I can't cut back on my job. I need money. As for personal writing advice for structuring videos, I've gotten to a point where I've done these videos so often I kind of have a formula or an idea of how I want to go about these things. And that's kind of my main piece of advice, is just have an idea of what you want to talk about and then make an outline. I did this back when I was in college. Whenever I'd have to write a big essay, I would kind of think of videos in the same way that I would do these essays, where I would make an outline of all the main points I want to hit after doing research, of course, and then go back into it. For example, for my Selling You On videos, it always starts with intro, backstory, as in like development history, gameplay story, gameplay, and with story goes characters, gameplay, and then the personal opinions, and then in between gameplay and personal opinions is whatever little extra field is specific to that game, whether it be the HD remaster, Akira, and the Akira route in If, or Strange Journey Redux. I include that like right in the middle there. And then I do the personal opinions, and then the outro. I try and structure things out and pace it. That's kind of the main thing. Side question, now that there's been time to think over what's been shown so far, what are your thoughts on SMT5 currently? I am incredibly excited. I am so hyped for it. I cannot wait for it to come out. I have some hesitations or some things I'm a little concerned about, mainly in, one, the premise of there's two worlds, and you go to one, you accidentally end up in one, almost get killed, come back with a strong power, and then you join up with an organization that is aiming to fight against this other world in some fashion. That's just Persona 3. That is just Persona 3. I think SMT can put an interesting spin on it, but there is a part of me that's concerned that this is just going to be Persona 3. I don't think it will be, but I have that concern. The other thing I'm concerned about is the fact that location-wise, there hasn't been a huge variety of things. SMT4, and by extension Apocalypse, has a huge variety of locales, despite the fact that they all take place in a city. And it's just because a number of these locales, they make them look so visually distinct. Whereas with, so far, what we've seen with 5, it's mainly been deserts, and then desert at night, or darker desert. And, like, that's cool, but I kind of want to see more. I hope there's a bit more variety in locale. But at the same time, I also feel like we haven't really gotten a good look at the locations we have seen. It's mainly just general aesthetics has all mainly just been desert. From Dithmine, Omnia, Persona 1, PSP, Mary Skelter 2, asks, how'd you get into content creation, and what was your learning process like? The way I initially got into content creation was I first found out about YouTube when I was in middle school, which was late for me compared to everyone else at my age. I found about YouTube in middle school, late middle school, and it was specifically I really got into YouTube, rather. I knew what YouTube was, but I got into YouTube in late middle school, when I found the YouTuber Chugger Conroy, who I am happy to say I still watch to this day. And at that time, I wanted to do videos like him. I wanted to do Let's Plays. Wasn't good at it. But that's what initially got me into video production. And I started to get more and more into it in high school when I joined my school's video production class. And from there, I just became more and more interested in video production, and I would eventually fall out of doing Let's Plays. I would try coming back on different channels and doing different things, but it never really worked out. But eventually, I just got to a point where I was like, I want to do a video where I just talk about stuff I like. So I did, I would really say the first video I did like that, was the Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition video, which I don't know if that's even still available on my channel. That is, at the time, was the longest video I'd ever made, 35 minutes. And I made that video in the most jankiest way possible. I used the PlayStation 4 capture and share feature. I did not have an Elgato at the time. So it's just really janky, and the clips are short and not super long. And not only that, but the quality is not great, and there's this ugly-ass watermark, if I remember correctly. But, like, when I made that video, I realized that, like, yeah, the audio quality is not great. This video is janky as hell, but I loved making it. And afterwards, I would just start to do more of that. I still took a long break, but when I came back, I wasn't trying to do like, oh, Let's Plays or stuff I'd done before. I was doing like reviews and editorials where I just kind of talked about stuff I wanted to talk about. And that eventually led to now. Were you self-taught to capture/edit? And what channel/creators inspired you to produce your own content? As I previously said, Chugga Conroy was the one who initially got me into wanting to make videos. And to this day, I still love him. He's still a major inspiration for me, just in a different way now. Other content creators I would say are big inspirations for me would be Super Eye Patch Wolf. A lot of his videos are kind of similar to mine, where it's just kind of gushing. Selling You On is very similar to why you should watch or why you should play or why you should read his videos. Catechris is also fairly important influence on me. And then also Saber Spark I also really like. I really like Saber Spark. He's one of the content creators that I actively every week look forward to a video of his coming out. I actually met him once, MomoCon 2019, and back in the before times, where I asked him some advice on how to make a long-form documentary-esque video, specifically for the The Somnium Files Limnisgate ARG series. He was a really, really nice guy, and I would love to meet him again. I would love to meet anyone again, but we're never getting out of this hellhole, are we? As for the self-taught to capture and edit, like I said, I was kind of taught how to, a lot of the basics of editing, partly by myself, but also partly from those video production classes I took in high school. I also took some in college, just not as many. So for the most part, I would say a lot of what I've done is, frankly, self-taught. It's a mixture of self-taught, and by self-taught, I mean YouTube tutorials. YouTube tutorials, and then also asking friends for advice, because some of my friends are actually professional video editors. One of my friends has edited videos for Did You Know Gaming as freelance. Another guy edited for a video podcast, The Drinking Bros. I've told some stories about that. He edited for them for, gosh, like a year or something. But yeah, they help me out with my videos. They're the ones that help me edit my videos sometimes. My roommate and friend Owen. Thank you guys again. But yeah, it's a mixture of self-taught as well as just getting help. The basics, though, I went and learned in a class how to do. Mario 2900_. Oh, I got one. Is there a franchise or game that you feel like that doesn't get enough love? Anything by Kotaro Uchikoshi. Makoten. It kind of gets cut off. I'll just read your whatever the name is. Mako, submissive face, Chinese character, kanji, heart, SMT5 heart, at Drakengard 3. I wish I owned that game. Favorite non-Final Fantasy Square game? Ugh. Okay, I would say my favorite non-Final Fantasy Square games would either be Xenogears or Chrono Trigger. Both of these games are phenomenal. I think Xenogears I have more of a personal attachment to, but that second disc, oh my god, it is a fucking dumpster fire. As for Chrono Trigger, this is just overall probably the most perfect game I've ever played. It is... I don't have any issues with it. I don't have as much of a personal attachment to it, but there's no issues with it. It's amazing. Both these two games. God tier. Square Enix, do an HD 2D remake of Xenogears, please. Tallest Fella, aka Liquid Furniture. Where would you like to hypothetically retire? Do you mean like location, or do you mean like when? Where in my life would I like to retire? I would say, in terms of location, honestly, my grandparents' house. They have a house on the beach, and I grew up there. Essentially, half my life has spent living there, and now my grandfather is gone, and my grandmother's just getting older. I really, really hope that that house does not get sold out of the family. That's where I want to retire. I think if things got to it, I would want to retire there. I would want to live there. That house means so much to me. I would hate to lose the location. And then I am reminded of the rising water levels and how we are losing the barrier islands that my grandparents' house is on. Oh, I really hope that land is still there in 50 years when I retire. As for where in my life I would want to retire, probably, that's something I just have no idea. I have no plans for retiring at all. I'm 25. I don't want to think about retiring, literally. From Ibagado, you are like an enemy in Travis Strikes Again. I've been thinking about a lot about Suda51 games. Can you figure out why? Have you played any Ace Attorney games? If you did, what is your favorite game and who's your favorite character? Okay, I have played all of them. I haven't beaten Spirit of Justice, and I've only played the mainline games. I haven't played the spin-offs like that Miles Edgeworth game or great Ace Attorney games. I haven't played those. I plan to play those at some point, but at the moment I've only played the main games, and the only one I haven't beaten is Spirit of Justice. My favorite game is definitely Trials of Tribulations, but my favorite case is the final case to Justice for All. That case is phenomenal, and it makes the entire game worth it. I don't think a case in the series has ever surpassed it for me. As for my favorite character, easily, Gumshoe. Hi, guys. My camera died, and I gotta let it charge. So I swap to my webcam. Welcome to my hotel room. I hope you enjoy your stay. Anyway, let's get back to it. Dummy Parker says, have you ever watched the show JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? And if so, do you plan on making a video about it? No, I've never heard of it. What's it about? Sean Wolfbark asks, are you a he or a who? I'd say I'm a ho. Unsung123, how you doing today? I'm doing pretty alright. I had easy day at work. It was just kind of boring. Nothing really happened, you know. It's whatever. Getting a little hungry. Koji Kato 2. What fictional character do you think has the most drip? Gotta say. I think Rex from Xenoblade 2. Tons of drip. The drippiest drip of ever drippedness. Just kidding. I fucking hate Rex's design. Quipedal asks, what other games do you enjoy, and do you like Half-Life? I love Half-Life. Other games I enjoy would probably be Xenoblade. Love Xenoblade to death. Metal Gear Solid. Devil May Cry is a huge one. Jet Set Radio. Also, Devil May Cry, this jacket is based off of Devil May Cry 4 Dante's jacket. No More Heroes. Hey. A number of games. I like a number of games. Oh, Alan Wake and Control are phenomenal. Krusty Gimbro. What's your favorite No More Heroes game / opinion on No More Heroes as a whole? I would say No More Heroes 1 is probably my favorite. No More Heroes 3 comes out tomorrow, so I can't say anything about that. But I'd say as a game, No More Heroes 1 is my favorite. As an experience, Travis Strikes Again, easily. There's just so much about that game that just has going for it, but I think No More Heroes 1 is probably my favorite. It's not the best gameplay-wise. I think 2 beats it in that respect, but I think as an entire package, I think the first one's the best. Though from everything I'm seeing, 3 is looking to be kind of perfect for what I'm looking for in terms of No More Heroes. As for No More Heroes as a whole, I love it. Suda51's fantastic. I love him. Resident Unleashed. That's another YouTuber. What inspired you to start content creation? Like I said before, Chugga Conroy. Oziak, another YouTuber. I know him. What game were you most excited for but let down by? Give me one moment. Do I need to explain anything? Fuck Sicker Star. Ridododo! What's your name, Mac? Also, what did you study, if you studied something in particular? I studied communications, and I am making fantastic use of that. PD, I love you, Macca. That's not a question. Zuron Tokyo. Favorite food and beverage? Spaghetti. Oh, shit. I should have waited. Oh, fuck. Shit. Dominic. Favorite non-SMT game? Probably Metal Gear Solid 3 or Xenoblade. It's probably my favorite, I would say. It kind of goes back and forth between which one. would be my favorite. I think generally Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favorite, but Xenoblade is also up there. They're kind of constantly vying with each other for the top spot. Kat asks, which franchise would you really want to see crossover with SMT? An SMT cross Yakuza game would be pretty cool. Mainly like Kamurocho, kind of similar to Dead Souls. Kamurocho going through a SMT-styled apocalypse I think would be really interesting. But all people care about is the fact that, like, oh, Yakuza and Persona are similar, so they should go together, when, like, I think Yakuza cross SMT would be way more interesting. I also think, like, a more proper crossover between Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem could really work. TMS is its own thing. I respect that. I just don't care for it. I think the idea of a Fire Emblem world experiencing a Shin Megami Tensei styled apocalypse would be really, really cool. Another thing I think would be a really cool crossover is, everyone always says Monster Hunter and Pokemon. Never happen. It's never gonna happen because the Pokemon Company does not like the idea. They're not gonna like the idea of people hunting and killing Pokemon. So what I think would be cooler is Monster Hunter Cross SMT, where you are hunting down and killing demons. I think that would be pretty neat. Salas G, what's your favorite non-Atlas game generally? Like I said, Metal Gear Solid 3. What was your first console? My first console would be the GameCube, but I had game devices prior to that. I believe I started with the Game Boy Color, but I never really got super into video games until the Game Boy Advance. But yeah, my first console proper was the GameCube. What made you want to start a YouTube channel? Jugga Conroy. You have to sacrifice one Atlas series, spin-offs being their own series, to save the rest. Which is it? I'm going to make this hard and make it currently active series, because it could be very easy for me to say, like, oh, Devil Children, obviously, or Last Bible. No, I'm going to go with currently active Atlas series, which in that case, all Atlas really has is SMT, Persona, Golden Playhouse to an extent, and then Etrian Odyssey. That's kind of all they have that's active. So I'm sorry, Etrian Odyssey, I'd have to go with that. I've played Etrian Odyssey. I think it's fine. I just don't super care for it. I don't know. It just didn't gel with me that one time. Maybe I'll give it another shot whenever they come out with the next game. Guitar God, what Megaten game or games would you like to see get a full HD remaster or remake? I would love to see the Avatar Tuner, Digital Devil Saga duology get an HD remaster. I think those games are great, and I think more people should play them. I would also love it if the Raito games got an HD remaster. Those games are so expensive now, so I would like to own a physical copy of them, please. Matvey Simonov, how did you came up with SMT series? What was your first video game? What are the other hard JRPGs besides SMT? Well, I assume what you mean when I came up with SMT, I assume you mean how did I get into it? Devil Survivor. I would say Devil Survivor. I love Devil Survivor. It's probably my favorite spin-off series out of all of them. Devil Survivor 1 Overclocked. I played. It was the first game I got, and then a few months afterwards, after I picked that up and loved it, Shin Megami Tensei 4 was coming out on my birthday of all things. On my 17th birthday of all things. So I kind of have a special connection with 4 in the sense that SMT4 is the first M-rated game that I ever actually got to buy on my own, and that was really, really cool. What was my first video game? Oh god, I can't even tell you. I just recall a bunch of Game Boy Color games that I had, and I don't know what order they were in. I remember Pokemon, I remember a Hamtaro game, I remember Monsters Inc. I remember a Mario. I remember a lot. Okay, I can't tell you which was my first. And other hard JRPGs besides SMT. There's this one game, this one series called you might have heard of it. It's called Dark Souls. It's pretty difficult. I'm not super into them. Honestly, though, another, like, hard JRPG I would say would be... I don't know, actually. I don't think there are that many hard JRPGs out there. I think a lot of them are challenging, not hard. CatCat13X64. Okay, gotta ask the big questions here. Do you have pets? I wish. I grew up with 2 golden retrievers my entire life, and I really want to have a dog again, but not only do I not have the time to raise one, but I don't have the space for one. And do you think we'll ever get a port of Rond, whatever the fuck it's called, to modern consoles? No. 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 Never. I think Atlas wants to forget Majin Tensei ever existed. WL, heavy one. What is your current utmost goal in life? What's the one thing you dream to accomplish or achieve as a career, creation, whatever at this point in your life beyond YouTube? So outside of YouTube, I have a number of ideas for short films. I have one idea that could work as like a TV series or a comic. I have another series idea that I kind of imagine in a television style format that would be a long form, like kind of anthology series that all ties into each other, and the ending would eventually kind of be everyone, all the different characters from all these different stories kind of like converging. I have a number of ideas, 2 in particular that I would love, bumped the mic, I would love to get out there in some form, whether as a comic or as a TV show or something. I think television is much, much better in terms of storytelling. I think some things benefit more from long-form storytelling as opposed to movies, and vice versa. I think I would want to do a television show for these ideas. One idea, the one that would work more as a comic, I kind of came up with the idea as a comic, is essentially about an old man who gains a ability to summon all these different gauntlets, but they're not like stuck to his hand. They're like astral gauntlets that he can move independently of himself, and it starts off with just one, and eventually as he gets better and better at it, he can develop more and more, upwards of like 100 of them. And the entire idea of it would be he would be like in his late 60s once he develops this power, and his life would just kind of be at the end where he just doesn't have really a ton left going on. His wife is dead, and he just moved back in with his daughter and her family. And it would ultimately be about his relationship with him and his granddaughter. And it would be more her coming of age, whereas he's kind of helping her with various things. And it's an idea that I would really like to do. The other idea is a long-form story. Each different story is a different character with a different story, but each character would be able to interconnect and, cross over and that kind of thing. That'd be about a group of immortals with a specific system that I've even worked out of how their immortality works. And it would start off as more of like a historical fiction period piece type thing. It would eventually evolve into a modern day science fiction thing, and eventually evolve into a like hard sci-fi into the future thing. And yeah, I would love to get those ideas out there in some form. Eventually, I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but it's something I would really love to do. Simply Dad asks, how you doing? Motherfucker, someone already asked this question. Get out! I'll see you next week for the SMT4 video. It's not next week. I still haven't even started playing SMT4. This isn't a question, but congrats on the 10K subs, bro. You're right, that isn't a question. Get out! I won't be seeing you next week for the SMT4 video. I still need to start playing SMT4. Matev Semenov asks, what are the distinctive features of different schools of JRPGs, such as Japanese, European, and American? When it comes to Japanese RPGs, they just have this quirkiness about them. Whether it be like a heavily anime-inspired RPG or like a early Final Fantasy, where it's not like super anime, but there's still some kind of anime to it. There's just a certain Japanese quirkiness to it, I feel, in terms of its tone and story and general dialogue, as well as turn-based. Most JRPGs are turn-based. When you consider everything, not necessarily today, but when you consider everything, most JRPGs are turn-based. Whereas with a lot of Western RPGs, you see a lot more freedom. That's another thing about JRPGs is they're more story oriented, where it's about you playing as a character. You didn't come up with the character, but you are taking this character and then molding them how you want while you were playing along a set story. Whereas with Western RPGs, they're based a lot more on freedom, where they use a lot more action-based combat, where you create a character who is your own character and you get to mold them. Whereas with European RPGs, those tend to be American RPGs, but like way jankier in terms of its like gameplay and like, this is clearly not on a AAA budget. You know, think like Witcher or Cyberpunk. Even if Cyberpunk came out in a good state, I'm confident it still would have been janky as hell. Phil Matibag, congrats Macca! Do you have a favorite Megaten protag? I would say definitely Demi-Fiend. I just think he's badass. I love his design to death. It's the cliche answer, but it's true. Demi-Fiend is my favorite. Isaiah Swam. How's your mom doing? Is she doing all right? She's doing pretty okay. She's doing okay. She's proud of me, and I love her. Anyway, which one was your first non-Persona SMT game? Devil Survivor Overclocked, like I said. That game is also just my first proper Atlas game. I didn't even play Persona before that. So yeah, Devil Survivor. Jam Fingers. How long does it usually take to make one of your videos? The shorter videos can usually take within a week to make, like the Is a Good games, that kind of thing. Those can take within a week to make. It just depends on what my work schedule is. Whereas the bigger videos, like the Selling You Ons, those can go anywhere from 2 weeks to like a month. I think I was working on that Strange Journey video for 3.5 weeks, and even then I needed help. It really just depends on how my life is going. Basinki asks, who's been your favorite content creator to collab with? All of them. Minato Arisato. What is your favorite anime/manga illustrator? When it comes purely to art, it would just have to have been Miura. It just easily Miura. Kentaro Miura was sadly a god of art, as well as just storytelling, and his death affected me pretty harshly. I feel like that was the first time in a long time, probably since Iwata's death, that I genuinely felt like I lost something very important to me when that person didn't even know who the hell I was. Miura is fantastic, and I hate the fact that he never got to finish his magnum opus. Otherwise, on a less sad note, Araki is also up there. Tatsuki Fujimoto also is probably my favorite modern mangaka. I'm also super into comics, and if we want to stretch the manga thing to also include comics, Sean Gordon Murphy, I think, is also a fantastic storyteller. Batman White Knight is a fantastic story. I highly recommend anyone to read. Even if you're burnt out on Batman, White Knight is a fantastic graphic novel. Batman Curse of the White Knight. That one is not as good, but it's still good in its own right. It's like if White Knight was a 9, Curse of the White Knight is like a 7. And then this one wasn't written by him, but it was written by his wife, Katana Collins. Batman White Knight Presents Harley Quinn is probably my singular favorite Harley Quinn story I've ever read. I think I might even like Batman White Knight Presents Harley Quinn a little bit more than White Knight. I just think Sean Gordon Murphy, just one of my favorite modern comic book writers, as well as Christopher Hastings, co-creator and writer for Gwenpool. That's a series I will adore to this day. I will always champion it. It's so good. Oh yeah, an anime. Gurren Lagann is probably my favorite anime. Minato Arisato the 5th. You can have any Atlas series or Megami Tensei franchise as a whole if you want. Crossover with any other franchise. What do you pick, and how would you want the plot to play out? I kind of touched on this earlier. I think a Yakuza game where Kamurocho experiences an SMT-styled apocalypse would be really interesting. I also think a more proper Fire Emblem crossover, where a Fire Emblem-esque world experiences an SMT-styled apocalypse. Luids! See you with the wonder of you, Avatar. What got you into making YouTube videos? Covered this. Chaka Conroy. Armando Hernandez. What is your favorite non-Atlas JRPG? Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles. Definitive edition, but also really the original as well. Both of them. It's quite literally the same game, just with a new coat of paint. YQ asks, who's the most handsome Megaten content creator? I'd say the most handsome is Gabmew. A woman. Women can be handsome. Also me. Nipples the Enchilada. Favorite manga. What about favorite anime? I already kind of touched on the anime thing. Gurren Lagann is definitely my number one. Kind of going a bit more into that. Gurren Lagann is easily my favorite because it is so profound in its stupidity. I've never seen something so dumb. Genuinely, just nothing here makes any sense. And this is just like dumb popcorn. But at the same time, you can read into it. And it is meaningful and deep, and it's like the only thing I've ever seen make me cry from anything other than sadness. It made me cry from adrenaline and from motivation, and I've never had anything like that happen to me before or since. As for favorite manga, Berserk and JoJo are definitely up there. They're a bit more cliche answers, but they're true. As for modern favorite, like, currently running series, or recent series, rather. Like I said before, Tatsuki Fujimoto is probably my favorite mangaka right now, newer mangaka. Chainsaw Man is phenomenal. I have been reading it even, like, before it really started to get popular. I wasn't on board immediately, but I did jump on soon after, and it is fantastic. I love it. I will sing its praises. I've been telling everyone, been knowing everyone I know to watch the anime when it comes out, or to read the manga, or whatever. Chainsaw Man is definitely up there. Fire Punch is also phenomenal. It is a story that thematically I keep thinking about to this day, and it's been over a year since I read it. Flynn's Modeus! If you had to become a demon, which one would you pick and why? I don't know. I'm not a wizard. How are you doing, just in general? I'm getting a little tired at this point. I've been doing this for like an hour, at least according to my audio recording. Getting a little hungry. Yeah, I'm getting close to the end, so I'm just getting tired. Then I'm probably just gonna go play some game or something. I don't know. Noct1 asks, favorite Megaten content creator? All of them? Honestly, though, they kind of come in different ways. I think in terms of just pure personality, I think Johnny Awesome is one of the most, like, brimming with personality creators. But in terms of just the content itself is, like, there's nothing else like it. Easily LaRue. I think he is probably the most unique creator in the community. And I am very happy to have him as a friend, as well as someone who I can ask questions about and have him double check my notes when I'm doing research and that kind of thing. I am very appreciative of him. Just another Primal Aspid. What is the worst game you've ever played? Also, what do you think about Oxygen? Kind of answered that earlier. Sticker Star's fucking awful. As for Oxygen, it's alright. Okay. Concerned Fish. You're longer, epic or not epic? It's nepic. I also don't know what that is. I'm gonna Google it. Hold on. Oh! It's that one demon. It's the rainbow gummy worm thing. I don't care for it. I don't really care. I don't hate it, but I don't care. Nibbled Chimp 456. Would you like a Pokemon Go styled SMT game on mobile? No, I don't think so. I don't think it would work as I don't think I would like that as well. It doesn't capture what SMT is really about in that sense. I think DX2 kind of perfectly captures what SMT is about in a lot of ways and just in a mobile format. Imran Ikonovic. What do you think it would be like if there was a game sort of like Persona Q games, but for mainline SMT? I'm not really talking about gameplay-wise, but setting-wise. There was a DLC in SMT4 Apocalypse where you as Nanashi meet the other messiahs. But what about an entire game based on that? Which of the games do you think should do a crossover? Personally, since I'm a sucker for Nocturne and 4, I'd go for that. I would love a SMT-Q. I think that would be neat. I don't really have too much to say. I think I'd be perfectly okay if every SMT game came with the DLC where all the other characters just kind of cross over. I think that would be neat in its own right. We get HD models of all the classic protagonists and such. And yeah, I think that's kind of all I would really want. A whole game about that would be cool. It would be cool, but I'm not really jumping at the bit for it. I think it would just be neat to have the DLC. Dennis Keck, are you hitting the gym? Oh, I'm hitting the gym. I'm hitting the Ring Fit gym. Gaijin Oni, what is your favorite Persona? Like, not the games, like what Persona is your favorite? I don't think I really have a singular favorite Persona. In terms of design, I think Arsene is probably the strongest looking starter Persona out of all of them. I think the weakest starter Persona is Orpheus. I don't like Orpheus. I hate the fact that its head is literally just the protagonist's. I would much prefer if it just looked completely unique and not just copy-paste. I don't like Orpheus. But in terms of starter Persona, I can definitely say it's Arsene for me. And finally, Red Death, the 7th. How's your mama? You're like the second person to ask that question. Get out of here. Go! Oh, I accidentally skipped over a question on Twitter. My bad. Apologize. From Persona Channel. What are some of your favorite indie games? I'm a really big fan of Hollow Knight. That's probably my favorite indie game of all time. That game is just phenomenal. Undertale's also really, really good, though I prefer Deltarune. Just in terms of, like, the gameplay. Obviously, Deltarune is not a complete product and probably won't be for another couple of years. And I'm also very, 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 very excited for Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. That game looks amazing. Katana Zero is also a fantastic indie game. Yeah, just those. From Kent Suminski. Kent Suminski. Bleh. What is the greatest piece of media you've touched? Bro, that question's a bit, that's kind of deep, man. I don't even know if I can even begin to answer that. Another question I skipped on accident would be from Kirbinato. What do you actually think of Xenoblade Chronicles 2? You haven't actually said any of your thoughts on it, to my knowledge, other than comparing it to Fire Force in your DE video and saying that you don't like Rex and your reaction to the Pyra/Mythra getting into Smash. On my stream, I've said this a number of times. This has been, weirdly, a recurring talking point. I don't hate Xenoblade 2. I think it's a good game. I like it. There's just a number of things about it I either straight up hate or just is not for me. I hate the gacha. I think the character designs and the tone, while yes, Xeno as a series has been anime from the beginning, and I'm not denying that, I think it goes too far in the lighter tone and the tropiness of things, or rather not tropiness, but cliche of it. It goes for more of a modern day rom-com feel in a number of ways, and I just don't like that. I don't like the designs. I'm not a fan of Saito as the character designer. I think some of his designs look really good, while a number of his other designs look god-awful. I also, in terms of the story, I think it's horribly paced. I think it really wasn't until the last, 2 to 3 chapters I really started to feel like I was getting invested in the plot. I don't like Rex as a protagonist. I think he's way too optimistic and boring. People will argue that, yeah, he does have depth and there is more to him. And yeah, I'm sure he does. I just don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like the fact that the world kind of, like, doesn't revolve around him, but rather he just kind of comes in and he just kind of comes in and makes everyone want to do better. It feels a little Gary Stewie, and I'm sure people can make arguments about it, but arguments to the contrary, but I just don't like Rex. In terms of its gameplay, outside of the gacha, I think it is incredibly strong. I don't think it's as good as Xenoblade X in the combat department. In the side quests, it definitely doesn't come close to X. But there's also just a number of things about the gameplay that when I played it, which was at launch, the game very blatantly felt unpolished and in a number of areas rushed. And I understand why that is, but that still doesn't excuse the state that the game released in. I played it before all of that polishing was added in later updates, and I don't think those updates nullify my points about the game. It doesn't make my experience not matter. I think Xenoblade 2 is a really good game, but there's a number of things about it that I legitimately don't like or just outright hate. And some of those things are more subjective, and other things I feel are a lot more objective. And I think it's just kind of messy. I think I'm glad that it's the game that got Xeno to become more and more popular. It's just not the direction I kind of want things to go, I guess. I am very excited for whatever comes next, whether it's a Xenoblade 3 or a Xenoblade X2. I would prefer an X2, just because I don't want that plot. I don't want X to get ignored. But yeah, no, Xenoblade 2 is a good game. I like it, but there's a number of things about it that I just... And call me a Xenoblade 1 elitist, whatever. I don't care. I prefer it and X to 2. Torna also is a major improvement. I love Torna. Torna's great. Torna still has some problems. I think the animations still some of the animations and the fight choreography looks way too Power Rangers Sentai-y. It looks like, you know how in Balan Wonderworld or Balan Wonderland or whatever the fuck it was called, there would be those dance animations where it would be these characters that were very cartoony, doing these hyper-real, very blatantly mo-capped animations that weren't gone back afterwards and touched up. That's how I feel about a number of the animations in Xenoblade 2, and that bugs me. That bugs me a lot. It's not as egregious, but it bugs me. Please don't think I hate Xenoblade 2. I don't. I think it's a good game. I'm going in circles at this point. There, I answered your question. Is that enough? I'm gonna stop now. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. New videos coming